to me, this one's on the defense, man. I'll be totally honest with you here. The Giants' defense was. We said this all summer. This is the calling card here. The Giants have devoted free agency. They've devoted first-round picks. They've made trades, and I know that Burns played very well, but you got Dexter Lawrence, you got Kayvon, you got Abdul Carter, you've got obviously Burns here, and it's not like they gave up 50 points here, but Dak Prescott threw the ball 52 times, and the Giants' defense simply needs to be better. Because you're not going to get this every week from Russell Wilson. You're not going to get this every week from Jackson Dart whenever Jackson Dart plays. Don't get me wrong. It beats losing, where you don't score a touchdown. The entertainment value was through the roof. This was a wild football game. But I sat here all summer. I was not alone. I think most Giant fans looked at the unit, the front seven, the ability to get pressure and change the game and disrupt as the best part of the team. And they didn't do it enough. That's it.
It was supposed to be their identity, so it's very frustrating when you have a team that hasn't scored touchdowns in seemingly years, and then they go out there and score a bunch of touchdowns yesterday. The defense can't do their job. However, to me, it's not just all on the defense. It's all encompassing. It was just a bad team loss, whether it's the stupid penalties. That's not just on the defense. Whether it is the offense's inability to put the game away in overtime. Like, how many chances do you need to put the game away? They had multiple chances. They just had to get in field goal range twice in overtime, and they didn't do that. So I just can't sit here and say, well, it's specifically just on the defense, and if they fix that, they're going to be great. I also don't believe what they did offensively yesterday is sustainable. They did it against a crappy Cowboys team, which we all know by now the Cowboys stink. Secondly, Russell Wilson's deep ball is a thing of beauty. It's been underrated for years, underappreciated for years. That's not sustainable. Giants have weapons, sure, but you saw it was not sustainable within that game, let alone throughout the course of the year. So I think the offense needs to take a hit as well. Obviously, the coaching and the penalties. To me, it wasn't all just on that defense, although that's supposed to be their calling.
Well, I mean, think about this. It shows you just really how far away they are from being an elite team. Because when you've got so many aspects of the team that is still not fixed or in certain spots broken. I mean, whether it's penalties, whether it's the inability to punctuate drives, whether it's the inability to stop. Obviously, the Cowboys have a good offense, but you still got to make some more plays on defense. The
not
coaching,
that good. Like, it's good. It's not that
no,
good.
I get it. But the Cowboys' offense is much better than the Cowboys' defense. I mean, this is not a surprise. That's why I didn't think that the Giants would win this week. I did think that they would score some points because the Cowboys' defense is going to be an issue forever, at least, or I should say for this season. I'm disheartened, man. I'm disheartened from a defensive perspective when you go out there and you build the team, Sal, with all of these first-round picks, and you can't get the stop when you have to get the stop. I understand there's other components that went awry here, but to me, if the Giants, I looked at the quickest way for the Giants to become competitive this year was for the defense to just destroy teams. Like, make disruptive plays, make splash plays, sudden flip field. And I haven't seen it yet. And here we are 2 games into it. And I know the defense was better in week 1 than yesterday, but it's not good enough.
Yeah, I mean, the defense has to be better. Offense has to be better. For me, there's no moral victories here, whereas it was different with the Jets, and we'll get to the Jets coming up. A week ago, the Jets, you could say moral victory. It's year 1 with a rookie head coach. This is year 4. So while you certainly feel good, hey, I personally am just thankful that we actually had a football game to watch. Both New York football teams, they've played 4 games so far, and we've gotten at least 2 football games where there's been some entertainment. There's been some back and forth. Each team had a realistic chance to win those games, and obviously each team ended up coughing up those games in different fashion. But I'm thankful that the Giants were able to move the football and play a competitive football game. There are steps along the way. It shouldn't be that way in year 4, but even the offense is not driving the football enough. Like, yeah, it was great because Malik Neighbors went nuts and Russell Wilson hitting on the deep ball, but that to me is just not sustainable. That's not a good offense. Oh, just have Russ drop back and fling one down the field.
Like it's a schoolyard.
It's not going to work like that all the time. It worked yesterday to a ridiculous extent. Matter of fact, that's not even sustainable like through Russ's career. Like, that was one of the great days that he's had passing, period.
Yes.
Certainly in years, but even in his heyday. So that type of performance is not just, okay, well, now the offense is fixed. Let's go see if the defense could go get it. And to me, that's why it's not just on the defense. I know the defense is the obvious thing. They had multiple chances to protect the leads. But if you even just get to overtime after the ridiculous 65-yard field goal and the way the defense laid off there, just get to overtime. I thought the Giants were going to win that game 5 times over. And I picked the Cowboys. I had the Cowboys to win that game 5 times over. I felt like, oh, Giants are going to win, Giants are going to win, Giants are going to win. And yet they didn't. And it wasn't just one aspect.
Well, I don't understand why these coaches don't adjust to the increase in kicking. I mean, the importance of kicking here. I don't understand why there's no adjustment. And obviously, we know about the prevent defense here. It was It was ridiculous, which speaks to what I'm saying. Like, dude, just go and get him. Go end the game. I mean, if you get burned, you get burned. But to lose in such a passive manner at the end when it was such a good game, to me is just gutting. I mean, yeah, again, all right, fantastic. Entertainment value. Wow, at least Giant fans had a reason to watch all 4 quarters, but it equates to the same thing.
But it's a nice step in the right direction.
Is it, though? Is it really, though?
Yeah, for a Sunday that you actually get to watch. Like, I'd rather lose like that every time than I would week 1 where they weren't even in the game.
Yes, but I'd feel better about this if it was, and I almost hesitate to bring Jackson Dart back into the equation this early, but I just say this because if Jackson Dart did what Russell Wilson did and the Giants lost, that's one energy. We all respect what Russell Wilson did. I think he showed everybody that, he's a man of pride. He's got a lot of pride in what he does for a living. And, corny tweets, whatever, he came out to ball. And he was killing it outside of those 2 mistakes at the end. But when it's a soon-to-be out-of-the-league quarterback who has an all-time day, it's got to take away some of the sting because he's not a piece of the future. He's not a piece of the puzzle. So what does it really do? You're still 0-2. You're 0-2 in the division. The offense malfunctioned late. The defense didn't do enough. The coaching was a wreck. And the Giants are 0-2.
Think about this, BT. We've had this conversation because a lot of the focus today is going to be on Bowen. That's how Giant fans feel. Oh, Shane Bowen, defensive. That's not the problem. Like, you could fire him and hire a new defensive coordinator and things aren't going to get fixed. I heard a caller this morning, Boomer and Gio, talk about, go hire Rex Ryan and that.
Oh, God, Rex.
They had that type of guy in Wink Martindale.
Yeah.
And whose fault is it that Martindale left?
They haven't been the same since he walked out of the building. That's on the head coach.
Well, correct. Like, it was Daboll who had the issue. And remember, you and I were fighting about this. You were on the side of Martindale. I was on the side of Daboll.
Yep.
Daboll, the head coach, he made the decision. They moved on from Wink Martindale. Their defense has not been the same. He chose Bowen. And he also should be able to override the certain setbacks or sets that they have in defense. Hey, prevent defense. Like, if the broadcasters are telling you that, and they were, then how come the coaches don't know enough to say, hey, you got to prevent them from getting into field goal range? And the Giants made it too easy. That, to me, is not on the defensive coordinator. That would be on the head coach.
And that's not a first-year coach. And we'll compare and contrast when we get to Glenn. This is year 4 here. So right. I agree. I mean, he's an offensive guy, Brian Daboll, but when you see the defense 12, 15, 18 yards back, and what the opposing kicker could do, so the headsets are already on, just yell, let somebody know, guys, what are we doing here? This isn't going to fly here. So I've always been a staunch believer and a staunch supporter. Yeah, you're the CEO. You're in charge of every facet of the game. I know that you got to delegate and let people do their job, but when it's that egregiously out of whack, then you got to intervene. And when you don't, that's on you.
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of issues there. It was exciting that they finally scored some touchdowns, put up a lot of points, punching back. That was great. Neighbors, obviously.
He's unbelievable.
But the offense can't just be, hey, let's just drop back and throw it up to Malik Neighbors, or, hey, find the spot in the zone where Wan'Dale Robinson is going to be running free. How about running the football? They couldn't really do that. Scatterboy, I know, had a couple runs. They couldn't do that consistently. They didn't drive the football enough. Obviously, the defense, we talked about that. Just, to me, just not good enough. Bottom of the penalties, an absurd level of penalties, really on both sides, but we focus here on the Giants. Like, when you put it all together, to me, it's not just one area. It's multiple areas, and that would be at the feet of the head coach.
And that's why they stink.
Yeah.
I mean, really, until further notice, that's why the Giants are a train wreck of a franchise. That's it. I mean, we can go through the routine, which we do. All right, we do this every summer, and not to try to convince you that the Giants are going to be better than they are. I sat here, and I said that I think the Giants are going to be a better product this year. My exact words, and I said the same for the Jets. My exact words were, I'm bullish on New York football to an extent where it's going to be more competitive. Now, aesthetically, it's looked better. You're right. The Jets gave us a fun, wild game in week 1, and the Giants gave us a fun, wild game in week 2. But here we are. The Giants are still 0-2, and there's been malfunctions on every level, whether it's the O-line, the penalties, lack of punctuating drives, play calling, head coach, just stupid mistakes. They are what they are until proven otherwise. It's not on Salvador to get on the air and say, well, it's a fun game, which it was, but you guys can deduce that on your own. But it's not up to us to try to convince you that the Giants are better than they are. I thought that they could be, and maybe eventually at some point this year they will be, but right now they're not. They're 0-2, play the Commanders, loss, play the Cowboys, who aren't even that good, loss, and here we are. It's not even October 1st, and it looks very bleak, and here come the Chiefs at 0-2.
Not to mention the just frustrating factor that you can't beat the freaking Cowboys.
No.
Like, to have been dominated like that by a division opponent for years, I mean, that's unacceptable. BT and Sal on the Fan, our friends at Town Fair Tire, remind you that at Town Fair Tire, you always get the guaranteed lowest price on name brand tires from Connecticut to Maine. Nobody beats Town Fair Tire. Nobody. Same old story with the Giants. They lose. We'll get to the Jets in a little bit. G-Stack is calling from Monmouth County. What's up, G-Stack?
What's up, fellas? So, I don't know when in football we stop taking the points on the road. I'm watching yesterday with my 11-year-old. I played football, not professionally, but we're on the road, right? In a game we need to win, a fan base, a team desperate for a win. In our own division, as you guys just pointed out. Never happens, right? We kick the ball off. We got the momentum going our way. In field goal range, we go for it. Not only do we go for it, we call a play that I could have told you was coming. My kid told me it was coming. They stop it. Huge momentum killer. Daboll sucks. And the offensive line hasn't been good in over a decade. I think you guys pointed it out last week. When is the last time we had a guy who could hold his block for longer than a second?
Yep. Yeah.
By the way, on that note, G-Stack, no Andrew Thomas, and yet the Giants were able to put up 37 points, the majority of coming down the field with deep plays. So I don't want to hear I was all about
now,
Andrew
most
Thomas.
Of those deep plays, if you look, though, his feet are scrambling. He's moving around the pocket.
I get it.
It wasn't like he had all day back there.
Right. I'm just saying that doesn't absolve them from – it doesn't absolve them from the Week 1 performance. That's all I'm saying.
Absolutely not. It's correct. And the backup, whatever his name is, that guy shouldn't have a job. He doesn't deserve to put on a uniform and make the kind of money he's making. He's a clown. That guy shouldn't be out of football for the rest of his life. That was a joke.
James Hudson. And so on that,
my God,
I don't remember ever seeing anything like that.
No,
before.
nobody has. I don't think. I think they put a stat up that's never happened before.
The 4 penalties in one drive and like 3 straight. Like,
yeah.
I was like, what the hell's going on? This is professional football, right? And I can't even blame the kid. Now, obviously, he was awful, but how the hell is he even in that spot? Are the Giants running a professional organization? I'm confused. Who has him on the team, number one? Number two, who thought he would be okay to be out there to replace Thomas? Like, A, he shouldn't be on the team. B, he shouldn't be on the field. C, how did they let him get away with doing that? That's unacceptable.
That was absolutely nuts. I mean, that was like an expansion team there. I don't even know what that was. I can't even describe it. It was just so substandard. I'm sitting there saying, there's no way that this is actually happening. Once, then 2, 3, 4.
Yeah,
what?
James Hudson, I mean, my God. Now, if he's on the team beyond today, I would be surprised. But again, it's not just on him. It's that the Giants believed that he was worthy of a roster spot and worthy of backing up Andrew Thomas to be in there. I don't know how you could. That's all, to me, that's all on Joe Shane. You saw the look on Daboll's eyes. He wanted them out of there. Paul, and eventually got his wish. Paul is calling from Lumberton, New Jersey. What's up, Paul?
Hey, Paul.
So I think it's time. I think Daboll's got to go, and I've been a fan ever since, but I think the writing's on the wall. Who else can you blame? It's the coaching, it's the lack of discipline, and that's the heart of it all right now.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know if it's just the lack of discipline, game planning. Like, it's one, and thank you for the call, Paul. And I'm more with you. Like, everybody's going to say Bowen. This is a much bigger picture issue. Even the offense that finally scored some points, it's just not sustainable to think that you're going to be able to do that. Yes, it was refreshing to hit those plays, and it is sustainable to rely on neighbors to a certain extent. But even that, you're going up against a bad defense, and it still wasn't good enough. But the penalties, the play calling on defense, the offensive decisions, the offensive in execution or inability to execute in overtime where you just needed to get in field goal range, the whole thing to me, just a mess.
But Sal, think about what he just said. I mean, we're here already, and this is what is really dangerous about the situation, and this is what we knew was going to happen when they decided to bring back Brian Daboll. I mean, here we are. I mean, 2 games, second or third call of the show, fire him. I mean, it was just, oh, God, this team, I'll tell you what, the Giants are just, they are a rough watch. They really are.
Yeah, I mean, but yesterday might have been the easy watch that they've had in 5-6 years.
Yes, but that's why I use the word aesthetics. But aesthetically, sure, okay, great. But when you boil it down to the mistakes that they still make and the macro issue with this team, we're still at the same place. It doesn't matter if they scored 70 points yesterday, Sal. We still get to the spot where there's just disorganization and chaos and just substandard stuff all around. It's disgraceful what they've become.
Mike is calling from Belvedere, New Jersey. What's up, Mike?
Hey, guys. What's up? How you doing?
Mike.
Good.
Man, just another awful Monday. I've been a Giant fan my whole life, man. I got to say, especially the last 15 years. Yesterday was disappointing. I'm blaming, Hudson and Bowen for sure. But everybody knew it was going to happen. The Giants, it was just clear as day. This is the games they lose. I just feel that, especially the last 15 years, they have just allowed and fostered this loser's culture where you just know that they're going to blow the game in the last few seconds. Doesn't matter the coach, doesn't matter the offensive coordinator, the quarterback, the staff. We're having the same conversations year in and year out. You know what I mean? 0-2, 10 of the last 13 years. I just think that the poison is deep in the organization before any changes can get made.
Well, how do you solve it? Honestly, I mean, we all know this. I mean, we all know. What do you do, Mike? We all know the records. What's the answer?
So, listen, there are two massive glaring issues with the Giants, right, over the last 15 years. Drafting, acquiring, and retaining players.
Is that all?
And then developing players. And then development of players after that. You go back and look at every draft.
That's everything.
But here's an argument that it's not just that. And thank you for the call, Mike. Good stuff. Daniel Jones was drafted by the Giants. He's now 2-0 with the Indianapolis Colts. One of the highlights of the league so far this year. Saquon Barkley, also drafted by the Giants. He was basically the MVP of the league last year, winning a Super Bowl.
It's uncanny.
Okay, so those are two examples of how it's not just about, they don't draft properly. Now, he did say keeping your own players, but it's also, to me, about scheme and how to utilize what you have. Now, the other bigger problem can come from, this regime didn't draft those players. Mm-hmm. But this regime is now in year 4 drafting their own guys. And like I said last week, it's the same thing this week. The last thing that I need to see from this regime is how Jackson Dart goes out there and performs. I'm not talking about yesterday in those plays or whatever, and those type of roles. I'm talking about big picture, long term, how he's going to look. And even then, I'm not so sure that I would still keep Daboll and Shane, which would then further complicate the problem because the next regime is going to have Jackson Dart in waiting. That's what we talked about a year ago, trying to prevent this mess and have a clean slate. But it's not just about the inability to draft and develop.
And these are all the things that we talked about. If you're going to get a new coach, does he like Jackson Dart? Does he love Jackson Dart? I mean, it's just not a smooth situation whenever you move on from Daboll, whenever that is. Hopefully it gets turned around. It was good to see some points. I get that. But what I'm saying is this, the Giants, they had a couple of chances to ice this game. Pop through, get through Dallas's O-line, which I know is very good, and make a play, disrupt it, put a ball on the turf, put Dak on his back, get a stop, get the win. And you have guys who are making a lot of money with the number 1 next to their name in terms of first-round status, and they didn't get the job done. So there's a lot of blame to go around. And Sal, when you're not good, there's always a lot of layers to this. And here we are again, 0-2. 888-808-1019, BT and Sal here on The Fan.